So I'm gonna start your timer right now.
All right. So welcome to another debate. What you guys saw the last time that I engaged was a total destruction of those that try to say that Jesus Christ isn't Lord. We showed that the Trinity can stand, and metaphysics and logic. In fact, it's a transcendental necessity to have relational distinctions in one essence. Now, today we're having a conversation about the Trinity and also about Tawhid. Now, this conversation, according to Islam, shouldn't actually happen. Now, I don't want to actually exegete this. The sister has said that I am able to actually Bay, you got to get the microwave. The sister said that I'm actually able to pull up a hadith. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a hadith because I don't actually think this conversation should be happening technically. But all peace to the Prophet Muhammad. Thank you so much, sister, for allowing me to pull up this hadith here. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can actually find it in my effects here. Let me get my green screen out. Oh my goodness. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. It's wasting my time. Hold up. Is this a green screen? Hold up. Let me get my hadith. Hold up. Hopefully this works. Dang, it didn't work. Yo, how do I Hold up, guys. Hold up. I can't even find the green screen feature. Hey, it's all
So what I've done is I've paused the timer on 8 minutes 39, so you can find.
Just stop my time real quick. Yeah, I can't even find the effect feature or the green screen. Here, I may have to just pull it up on
So when you
computer.
click, so what you do is you click wait, let me help you. So when you click on your image, right? You
Yeah.
click on the camera, you go to the effects, scroll all the way down to where the arrow is, right? Then you'll see new appearance, and then you'll see green screen, where it says green screen. The one that has the big screen and the arrow pointing downwards.
I don't
It's right
see that.
underneath the one
I
that you
don't
clicked. You don't see the big screen with the arrow pointing downwards, and it's just green with nothing else, just the image and the arrow pointing downwards. You don't see that?
Nah. I see. I'm on trending.
So don't you see green
the
screen?
bit with the arrow pointing downwards? That?
Yeah. Click that one.
But that's not even working. Hold up, let me see. Yeah, that's not working.
Oh, okay. So you might
Wait, Tiger, by the way, can you show your timer on the screen?
Yeah. Hold on.
All right, but
Okay, yeah, that's not working. Someone said just read it, bro. I want to pull it up, y'all. I want to pull up this hadith, man. I got to. Hey, if I can't, I gotta just pull. Okay, if I can't, I gotta just pull it up on my computer.
You do this.
Yeah, I may try to pull up on my computer then, cause I can't even
That's the
I don't know where it is.
8:39.
Oh, I see. It says green screen. No, wait. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. We on to something. Hold up, y'all. Hold up.
I'll show you how to do it real quick, then I'll drop.
Well, I got it. Boom. Okay. Start my time.
Okay.
All right. So I just want to go ahead and read this hadith, man. It says, the prophet said, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man? The woman said, yes. He said, this is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind. Peace be to the Prophet Muhammad. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. All right, let me get this out of here. Peace be to the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so we are engaging in a conversation about the Trinity and about Tawhid. So I've already defended the Trinity. All we have is like literally one essence with three relational distinctions. We see the blunder that these people keep making. It's the same blunder over and over again. They don't understand that when we say essence and when we say personal relation, those are two different things. They don't understand that Leibniz's law is categorically dependent. They don't understand that universals and particulars are in the created order, and so we don't apply these categories to God. They don't understand that we count by essential distinction, meaning that all particulars are essentially distinct. They don't understand these things. Okay, it's an illusion. Muhammad has sent strong delusions. Okay, they don't understand it. And so we are going to defend the Trinity once again. And again, I defended it a couple of days ago. Very, very simple. Very, very easy. There's just three persons and there's one God. There's one existence, and existence is indivisible. Okay. Very, 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 very basic. And then we're going to talk about Tawhid. Now, what's interesting is like, look, in the Christian worldview, we affirm absolute divine simplicity. Now, for all you guys who don't know what that is, I have a lot of time, so I'm going to really talk slow, and I'm really going to just try to help people and just teach. Absolute divine simplicity is the idea that God's essential attributes are identical to his essence, meaning that everything that God possesses via his attributes, he's identical to, right? He's literally identical to. So he's numerically identical to his attributes. So the reason why this is necessary is because we can't divide existence. So there's only one existence, there's only one God with three relational distinctions. And so when we talk about God being purely actual, when we talk about God being necessary, when we talk about God being independent, when we talk about God being that which is fundamental, right? He would have to be purely simple, right? Because God does not change, which means God's essence must be identical to his existence. If there is any contingency in God, that means that God is dependent. If God is composite, that means that God is dependent. If God is composite, that means God needs something that actually unifies his parts. Now, she can try to invoke some mereological nihilism. That just actually exposes her view because she doesn't understand what mereological nihilism actually affirms, that if you take the position that God actually exists, and you're not an atheist, which I hope that she's not, she will have to affirm that God is divinely simple. And so the problem that the Muslims have is this. We say, well, look, God is purely simple. Okay. I'm not simple. I'm made of parts. Okay. My essence is distinct from my existence. So that I am is distinct from who I am. I am a human. Right? I exist. But my humanness is not identical to existence itself. So the blunder that these Muslims make is they literally split existence. They say that God being fundamental, God being existence, there's other things dependent upon him. So here's the issue. Not only can they not account for the problem of the one and the many. What's my time? 5 minutes. Oh, we're doing perfect. Not only can they not account for the problem of the one and the many, which says that among these particulars, we have unity. So they either run into two different categories: absolute monism, which is to say that everything is unified and there is no distinctions, which is a problem, or they run into absolute atomism, which is to say that, look, now all these things are distinct and nothing is actually unified. So what we have unity among diversity. So I am a human, Kōrra is a human. We both share the same human nature. Okay. However, we are not identical to humanness. We share an instance of the human nature. Okay, this is the idea of universals and particulars, and this goes all the way back to Plato. But Plato didn't actually have anywhere to ground these forms. So these forms in the Christian worldview is grounded in the mind of God. Now, why is this so important? It's very important because in order for God to actually actualize this creation, it necessitates that God have relational distinction, meaning that God be one being with three hypostases or three subsistences. Okay, this is necessary. Okay, if you reject this idea, then your God becomes contingent. Your God can't actually know anything. Your God becomes metaphysically impossible, and your God becomes temporal. Your God depends upon another God outside of himself. And quite honestly, your God becomes the creation, because everything in the creation is contingent. Everything in this creation is contingent. It is not necessary. And she's going to tell you, well, no, you fall into modal collapse. She doesn't understand what modal collapse even is. She doesn't understand how contingency doesn't have an ontology, but it's dependent upon our perception, meaning that we have an appearance of contingency, but contingency does not have an ontology. See, in her worldview, she's going to say that Allah does not have to actualize these states of affairs, because she's trying to hold to Allah having free will, but she doesn't understand what free will is. And the Christian worldview, we say that free will is God actualizing divine perfection. And because God is necessary, there's only one set of actions that can be perfect. And so God can't do anything other than what he did. Doesn't mean that God is being externally composed by something outside of himself, but God is purely actual. Okay. So here's the problem. Okay, we're going to see how this individual worships 99 gods. We're going to see how this individual's God is impossible, how her God can't actually know anything, how her God can't ground love, fairness, and justice. We're going to see how this individual's God is dependent and doesn't have a deity. We're going to see how this individual's God literally is in time. And I'm going to break down all the metaphysics, but to kind of put it very simply, when you don't affirm absolute divine simplicity, you end up in a very, very bad spot. We still have 2 minutes. So I am just going to continue to talk and just break this stuff down more. So let's talk about fairness, right? If Allah is one person, okay, who is Allah being fair with before the creation? Who's Allah being fair? If Allah is just one person, who's Allah loving before the creation? Now, these are just very simple objections, and I'm keeping it very simple for all you people in the chat who may not be acquainted with philosophy. Who is Allah loving? This is just very simple. It's a very simple argument. Who is Allah loving? Who is Allah demonstrating fairness with? Who is Allah demonstrating his justice with? Right? I guess these 99 other gods that exist independently of him. I guess these other 99 distinct ontologies that exist independently from him. I guess Allah, when he says in the Quran, when he talks about his Lord, I guess he's talking about the Lord that literally unifies all his parts, because everything that is composite necessitates a composer to unify its parts. So this is the big blunder, you guys, of Islam. When you don't affirm absolute divine simplicity, and this is another big issue. They don't even know, and you guys will see before this is over. You guys, I'm gonna. This is my thesis. We're gonna see 3 things. We're gonna see her laugh and cope. Okay, we're gonna see her cope laugh. Okay, we're gonna see her straw man my position, and we're gonna see her not be able to regurgitate anything I've said. Okay, I want you Christians to watch out for that in this debate. Again, we're gonna see her laugh and cope. We're gonna see her straw man my position. And we are going to see her not be able to regurgitate. In the words of the prophet, this conversation shouldn't be happening. Again, thank you so much, and I yield my time.
All right, bro. Let me change who's up here. Okay. Oh, so yeah, Kōrra, I'm gonna reset it to 10 minutes.
Got you. By the way, somebody texted me just to let Darren know something. Somebody, one of your mods, I don't know who it is, keeps unmuting Destroyer of Sunnis, and he's blaspheming in the chat. So can you guys just make sure that he does not get unmuted?
I mean, it would if he's unmuted, he'll just
if he's blaspheming in the chat, Destroyer. Come on, man. You know we have we gotta keep it real. So if you're gonna blaspheme, bro, you're gonna get muted. Like I know. Hey, I know how you operate now. Just relax. This is purely academic. So if he's gonna be disrespectful in the comments, sorry, my brother, we gotta keep you muted.
Yeah.
So go ahead, guys.
All right.
It sucks, you know.
Oh shit! Sorry. Wait. Start again. All right, there we go. Ready. All right. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I begin this discussion with the purest of intentions, solely with the hopes of defending the Muslim position and dismantling the absurdity that is the Trinity. But the first thing that I need to do is that I must clarify my own position with regards to Tawhid. I am Athari, which means I take my Aqidah from the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Salaf. And I am a neoclassical theist, which means I negate absolute divine simplicity, as Q-Top has said. But this does not, however, mean that I affirm composition for God. I do, however, believe that God has a multitude of real distinct properties that subsist within his essence. For example, whether it be power, knowledge, wisdom, sight, or hearing. I, however, do not affirm that these attributes are extrinsic to the essence, nor do I delve into the howness of any of these attributes by any means whatsoever. And the last thing that I would like to cover is that I am a conceptualist. I believe that whether it be universals, whether it be logic, and so on and so forth, I believe that all of these things are grounded within the mind of God. Now, within this discussion, and obviously this is going to happen during the rebuttals, I would be expecting formal arguments and only formal arguments from my opponent Q-Top. And if he defines a term, then I will expect some sort of an academic to back him in whatever definition that he posits. And if he's incapable of doing so, then I will completely and utterly ignore whatever definition he gives to me. And then I will give my definition, and I will make sure it is backed by an academic. Those would be my 2 requests. I would like formal arguments, and every single time you decide to define a term, I need you to back it by somebody. And if you are incapable of doing that, I will just call you out for ad hoc, and then I will just move past it. I won't care for your argument unless you are capable of backing it by somebody, whether it be a scholar or some sort of a philosopher, whatever it may be. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says in the Quran, يا أهل الكتاب لا تغلوا في دينكم ولا تقولوا على الله إلا الحق إنما المسيح عيسى بن مريم رسول الله وكلمته ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه فآمنوا بالله ورسوله ولا تقولوا 3 أنتحوا خير لكم إنما الله إله واحد وسبحانه أن يكون له ولد وله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وكفى بالله وكيلا. O people of the scripture, do not commit excess in your religion or say about Allah except the truth. The Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, was nothing but a messenger of Allah, and his word, which was directed to Mary by him, and a soul created by his command. So believe in Allah and his messengers, and do not say Trinity. It is better for you indeed. Allah is but one God, and he is far above having a son, and to him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth. And he alone is the disposer of affairs. I chose this verse for 2 reasons. 1, because it emphasizes Tawhid and believing that Allah is absolutely one. And 2, it also emphasizes that the Trinity is nothing but a false doctrine. Christians have indeed gone to extremes with regards to their religion, and they have indeed lied about Allah. Allah is not 3 in terms of personhood, and Allah will be absolutely one, whether it be in being or person. Now, Q-Top, again, I will state this, before you respond to any argument that I say with regards to the Trinity, everybody in the audience knows, all 661 people know that you define terms to cater to whatever belief or argument that you would like to posit against your opponent. And I, again, will remind you that I will not be having this, whether it be now, whether it be in the rebuttal, or whether it be in the cross-exam. When you define a term, I need you to bring somebody that precedes you in it. And one last thing that I need to highlight. Every single time I critique the Trinity, I am critiquing it from an internal aspect, which means irrespective of whether or not you want to run some sort of a transcendental argument to prove that my position is somehow absurd, or that my God, quote unquote, cannot ground universals or the laws of logic and so on and so forth, I will remind you that my position has nothing to do with my critique of yours. That will essentially just be a running tactic for you. And again, I will not be having that. But we can go ahead and move on to the argument against the Trinity that I will be presenting in this opening statement. And it's just going to be the traditional LPT. The 7 premises. It's going to be the case that the Father is God. It's going to be the case that the Son is God. And it's going to be the case that it's the Holy Spirit is God. The Father, however, is not the Son is not the Spirit, and the Spirit is not the Father. And there will absolutely be one God. Now, obviously, I know how you respond to this. You're going to say that I am conflating personhood and being. But what I'm going to prove to you is that the entailment is not such. It's either going to be the case that when I apply the LPT, God, or the persons in this instance, are either going to be God by predication or by identity. Now, I already know what your response is going to be with regards to this. And to be frank, I really don't care. Whether you appeal to classical identity, whether you appeal to relative identity, you are going to have a problem one way or another. And again, I will display this whether it be in the rebuttal or in the cross-exam. I would rather it be in the cross-exam, to be honest with you. Now, with regards to the LPT, I'm sure that when you hear the 7 premises, you're like, oh yeah, well, this is low-key problematic. You're absolutely correct. And with regards to this, obviously, and you can clarify if I'm wrong in the rebuttals, you stated about 2 days ago that you are a Thomist. You hold to the positions of Thomas Aquinas with regards to the Trinity. So what I'm going to do throughout this debate is I am going to hold you to Thomas Aquinas' views, because you yourself said that you take the model of both Augustine and Thomas Aquinas. Even though you're not a Catholic, you're a Protestant. That's perfectly fine. But with regards to this, all I will be saying is that I will not be presenting any formal arguments as of right now apart from the LPT. You can wait on that with regards to the cross-exam. That's perfectly fine. You can prove relative identity. You can reject classical identity. I'm not going to address anything until it is a rapid fire. So right now, I'm just telling you, you can make your arguments against Tawhid. That's perfectly fine. I do not mind. But my arguments against the Trinity are going to be presented when I can talk to you one-on-one and you are incapable of running by any means. All right, so I concede it.
Okay, brilliant. All right. I'm gonna put Q-Top back up. Q-Top, let's set a 7-minute bottle.
Yep. Let me know.
Let me set that up. Okay, and you ready to start?
Peace be to the Prophet Muhammad. I think what he said was correct in my opening statement. So yeah, so this is very simple. So we didn't even actually get, we literally didn't even get anything of substance. So all we heard in that opening statement, you guys, was a bunch of emotion. I'm going to be so honest with you, and I'm being so humble, bro. All we heard in that opening statement was cry me a river. I don't like that there's a Trinity. I don't like that Jesus Christ is Lord, because I don't care. I don't care about your arguments, Q-Top. We literally heard her say, and I have this quoted. He says, I don't care. I don't care about what you present. I don't care that I'm straw manning the Trinity. I don't care that I'm conflating essence with personal relation. I don't care that existence is fundamental and ultimate and is indivisible. Therefore, we don't count three gods, because that means there's three essences. There's one essence with three subsistences. I don't care that I don't understand Leibniz's law, which is the identity of indiscernibility, which is X. If for everything that is true of X, if it's true of Y, these things are identical, but it's categorically dependent. I don't care that I don't understand that I worship 99 different gods, because these things are distinct from Allah's essence. I don't care that my God is impossible, because he's contingent. I don't care that my God can't ground knowledge. I just don't care. This is Islam. I don't care. This is Islam. We can literally, the summation of Islam is 3 words. I don't care. I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it. This is embarrassing. Okay. So then, by the way, oh my goodness, this is just, dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. And I'm trying to keep it together. She said, unless you use words that I agree upon these definitions, because it came from another man who defined it, and who then came from another man who defined it, I'm not going to entertain that. Wow, such a blunder. Do you not understand etymology? Do you not understand that words describe concepts? So look, I'm a human. But instead of human, I can just say, I'm a oogie googie 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 gappy gappy. I'll say it again. I'm a human. But instead of human, I can just say, I'm a oogie googie gappy 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 gappy. It's describing a concept, which is a rational agent. So you're playing semantics. Entertain the logic that I'm presenting. Don't get caught up in word games. There is one essence with 3 persons: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father, who is the eternal knower, the Son, who is eternally known, coming forth from the Father, and the Holy Spirit, the perfect unity of love that bridges the gap and stands in the gap. This is God. This is who we serve. So I don't care about meta. Again, right? Thank you so much for the galaxy. I have the Eagles game pulled up here. I mean, this is embarrassing. I'm multitasking. Okay. All she's going to do is conflate essence with personal relation. She says, well, the Father is God. The Son is God. The Holy Spirit is God. The Father is not the Son. The Son is not the Father. The Holy Spirit is not the Son. We get it, bro. Tony, but we get it. We get it. We know you don't understand our theology. This is the age-old arguments. And for all you Muslims, I wish you would clip me, because I'm going to expose how you worship 99 gods today. Now, this is quote. Universals are grounded in the mind of God. So now we have a big problem because now she's saying that there are universals, which there are distinct universals. There are distinct ideas. So she's going to have to account for unity and diversity in Allah's essence, which she can't do. Then she said, I don't believe this makes Allah composite. If these attributes are distinct from Allah, they are composite. That's what distinction is. If you're invoking an essential distinction, which is a real distinction, not a relational distinction of subsistence, which you don't have in your world, that would make it composite. Which means Allah needs a composer. Allah needs something that explains the unity of composition. So you're not going to get around that in our cross exam. Trust me, you're not going to get around that. And by the way, if Allah is reality, are these attributes also reality? Do these attributes exist in reality? Because now you're going to have 99 different realities. So now you can't even have absolute truth. Now you can't even know anything because now you have 99 different worlds. I mean, this is basic. This is basic. So I really hope that you come, with something, more of substance. I'm gonna be honest, Islamic Apex was way better than this. I'm really disappointed. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. So hopefully you can address things of substance. Hopefully you don't play semantics and word games the entire time. And hopefully we can actually get to like some sort of conceptual understanding of how you serve 99 different gods, of how your God is not actus purus, of how your God literally has contingency, being an ontological, having an ontological existence, of how your God exists temporally, how Allah's attributes being distinct from his essence means that he's actually not divinely simple, means his existence is not identical to who he is, mean that he doesn't actually, he's not identical to these things, he has these things. Hopefully we can get into something of substance. Because right now, what I just heard was embarrassing. I love you, Kōrra, but that was embarrassing. I yield my time.
Before we give it to Kōrra, I just want to tell you guys, I don't know whether any of you guys have sense or whether you're lacking it. Stop spamming the comment section, or what we will have for the rest of this live is no comments. I don't understand why you guys need to spam the same thing over and over again. I can't mute every single one of you. So what I will do is just turn off the comments and we'll have a commentless live. Like, stop it. It's not that deep. Type what you have to type once and leave it alone. Bro. And you're telling me, okay, chill. I will be very chill when the comments are off, including Christians. Stop spamming 99 gods in the comment section as well. You guys should know better than this. What the heck? Anyways. Kōrra, it's your turn.
All right. Just count me down.
Start the 7 minutes. Right, actually, 7 minutes here. Okay, and starting now. Oh, wait, let me restart it. Okay, and start.
Okay, it seems that Q-Top is not the only person that is deeply disappointed in this debate, because in the entirety of his rebuttal, I heard all claims and zero arguments. When I said in my opening statement, I expect only formal arguments, it seems that it went in one ear and out the other. What's going on, dude? 1,000,001 claims, but not a single motivation behind every single one of them. So again, I'm going to ask you, and I hope you do this in your cross-exam when you're cross-examining me, provide arguments for every single claim that you made against my position, just like I did. That's why I'm just asking you to be consistent, Q-Top. Is that okay? That's all I would like. Nothing, not a single portion of my argument was addressed, except for you begging the question saying, oh, she's conflating essence with personhood, and it's going to be the case that Leibniz's law is going to be categorically dependent, and because it accounts for creation, it's not going to account for the creator. It's okay, I'm going to provide a reductio to this with regards to the cross-exam. It's going to be perfectly fine, don't worry, Q-Top. Now, when I told you that I need definitions from academics, the reason as to why I said this is because if you do not pull definitions from literature, this allows you to be a sophist and an idiot, with all due respect, and abuse language and misuse terms. Now, another thing that I would like to point out that you did in the opening statement of yours is you used numeric identity. You used numeric identity with regards to God. That was your mistake. And I'm calling this out now, and I actually wrote it down. I quoted it. So what you're going to do now is, I know that you're an impure relative identity theorist. That's perfectly fine. Whatever, we can discuss that. But when you say that numerical identity follows with regards to God, let me tell you something, numerical identity conforms to Leibniz's law. You cannot apply numerical identity to God without going on to apply Leibniz's law as well. But you have a problem with this because apparently Leibniz's law is going to be categorically dependent and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It is what it is. Now, with regards to Leibniz's law, I would want you to expound on what categorical dependency means. And again, I will say it because this is just unintelligible. And Darren asked for an academic debate. So if we want an academic debate, then we can talk about academics. We can talk about literature. We can talk about philosophers. We can talk about scholars. We can talk about church fathers. But it seems that you don't want to accept a single one because you do nothing but ad hoc, with all due disrespect. It's extremely upsetting to see that it's going to be the case that you just define terms in whatever way that you want to, and you say to hell with anyone who disagrees with me. I never said that I need definitions that I agree with. All I said is that I need definitions that conform with at least one piece of literature. You can even quote me a church father. You can bring me Thomas Aquinas. You can bring me St. Augustine. It does not matter to me. As long as you are capable of proving that some sort of an authority holds to the same position as you, I will be able to then take you seriously. Because if I cannot see that, then I'm just going to say that you're gibberating. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're inventing positions that nobody precedes you in. You're inventing definitions that nobody precedes you in. And I'm just going to say, okay, you're a donut, dude. What are you even talking about? Now, another blunder. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to bring up academics as well. You said that it's going to be the case that real distinctions in and of themselves imply composition. Every single philosopher, whether they be Christian, whether they be Jewish, whether they be Muslim, whether they be atheist, agnostic, whatever it may be, they all agree that real distinctions in and of themselves do not constitute composition. What they do, however, say is in order for something to be composed, not only does a real distinction need to be present, but it also needs to be the case that the parts in this particular, let's say with regards to Allah, these quote unquote parts need to be ontologically prior to the whole. Now, I'm sure you don't know what ontological priority is. That's perfectly fine. I can define it for you. If something is ontologically prior to the whole, it's going to be the case that it exists before the whole, and it essentially, we can say, comprises the whole. Now, something cannot comprise the whole if it's counterfactually dependent upon the whole, as we believe about the attributes. We don't believe that the attributes are causally efficacious. We do not believe that the attributes are, whether it be logically or ontologically prior to the essence. Therefore, by definition, it is not going to be composition. And philosophers that back me up like this, such as Peter Simmons, he studies composition. He's a philosopher in the field of composition, and he himself says that real distinctions are not enough to ground it. Even Thomas Aquinas goes on to say this, actually, in Article 1 of Summa Theologica, because you're a Thomist. So what I can do, actually, let's go ahead and bring this up. I don't know if I can show it on the screen, but Thomas Aquinas does in fact say with regards to composition, perfect, right here. In Article 1, questions both 28 through 30, he says that in order for something to be a quote-unquote part, it needs to what? It needs to have some sort of ontological priority. Now, if you want to go ahead and go down this route, we can again go down this route in the cross-exam. I have no problem. But what I expect from you in the cross-exam, when I cross-examine you, and when you cross-examine me, without making blatant claims saying that it necessarily needs to be the case that God needs relational distinctions within his essence in order to ground anything, whether it be love, whether it be justice, whether it be universals, whether it be logic, and so on and so forth. I don't want claims. I want evidence. I want formal arguments. And that's what I expect from you. You're a grown man. You should know how to syllogize an argument. I really hope that you do. Because when I provided my argument against the Trinity, it was syllogized. I gave you the grace of being able to read every single premise, hear every single premise, and then go on and reject any of them or impose whatever theory of identity that you'd like. When I said that I don't care, it's not that I don't care about your position. It's that your position doesn't matter because it's going to be reduced to absurdity one way or another. And I will be displaying this in the cross-exam, which will be taking place in what, like a minute. But we can go ahead and move on to that. I concede my time.
Okay. That's great. That was great. Q-Top, I'm gonna put you back up. We're gonna do a cross exam. So you guys see, I'm gonna have 15 minutes on the screen, but then I'm gonna do the 30 seconds from my second device. And I'm gonna leave myself off mute so you guys can actually hear. My phone is really low, so you can hear once the 30 seconds is done. Because there's no way I had to use the tripod. I'm not gonna put my phone in front of the screen like, oh, 30 seconds is done for you guys. No, I'll have it here. So Q-Top, you guys said 15 minutes cross exam. Bro. So 15 minutes, and then it would be 30 seconds to rebuttal. So guys, please, while you guys are having it, if the question is not answered, you get to ask the question like 3 times. If the question is not answered, please move on. Try not to like attack each other. I will try my best to pause the time if it gets to a point where you guys are not able to like move on, but like just try to keep it civil at least, please and thank you. So I'm gonna start the timer now.
Okay, I just want a yes or no for this. Is it the case that definitions are objective?
No, not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. Is it the case that all argumentation must be presented in a logical syllogism?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Okay, thank you for that. Is it the case that when you affirm or that when you reject absolute divine simplicity, you are saying that Allah is made of parts? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so when you say Allah is not made of parts, are you affirming that just because there is some sort of ontological priority of composition?
What? Wait, can you re-say that?
Yes, ontological priority of composition means that the whole is ontologically prior to the parts.
Wait, what's the question? Am I saying that the whole is ontologically prior?
That the whole is ontologically prior to the parts, yes or no?
That's gibberish. I don't know what that means. What do you mean the whole can be ontologically prior? The parts are ontologically prior.
I'm going to ask the question again. Is it the case that the whole is ontologically prior to the parts?
No, there's no ontological priority with God, full stop, in terms of his attributes.
Is it the case that the attributes are dependent upon Allah and Allah is dependent upon the attributes?
Counterfactually, yeah.
Yes, that's what counterfactual dependency is, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so is it the case that the whole, which is Allah, is ontologically prior to the parts and the parts are ontologically prior to the whole?
No, that doesn't follow.
How does that not follow?
If you're going to say that there's some sort of an ontological priority, then you need to say that the attributes existed before Allah, but we don't believe that because we believe that the attributes describe the essence. We don't believe that they have ontological priority insofar as they can exist by virtue of themselves. We don't say that.
Does Allah depend upon the attributes?
Counterfactually, yeah.
Yes, right? So he depends upon the attribute.
If you want to say it in that sense, sure.
Yeah, so Allah depends upon the attributes. The attributes depend upon Allah. The attributes are distinct from Allah, correct?
Yes, the attributes are distinct.
Yes, the attributes are distinct from Allah. Would you affirm that something is God if it's uncreated and eternal?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So something can be uncreated and eternal and not be God.
If it's the case that it's intrinsic to his essence, yes.
I just want a yes or no here. Can something be uncreated and eternal and not be God?
If it's with regards to the attributes of God, yes.
I just want a yes or no here. Can something be uncreated and eternal and not be God? This is my third time asking. I just want a yes or no. It's just it's a true
I just answer. It's a loaded question.
It's a true dichotomy.
No, it's a loaded question. This is fallacious.
What's the objectionable premise?
What? The objectionable premise?
Yeah, if something is loaded, that means there's an objectionable premise. What's the objectionable premise?
Yeah, you're presupposing that it's going to be the case that like Allah has parts. You're presupposing that by saying this.
Is Allah the only uncreated and eternal thing?
No.
No. Okay, thank you for that. Clock it. Do you affirm that Allah grounds universals?
Yes.
Yes. Are there distinct universals?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
Okay.
But it would be a concept. Wait, can I elaborate though? It'd be conceptual distinction.
Okay. What about Allah grounds distinct universals?
His knowledge.
His knowledge. Is his knowledge distinct from him?
Yes.
Okay, clock it. Another thing here. Do you affirm impure relative identity?
No.
No. Why not?
I believe that classical identity can be applied in almost every single instance, unless we're referring to like temporal things.
Yeah, so classical identity can't be applied to something that is non-temporal, correct?
No, it can.
Wait, so classical identity is not just for temporal things?
No, it's not.
Yeah, so can you give me something that is temporal that upholds classical identity?
You mean non-temporal?
Something that's temporal. Did you affirm that temporality is where absolute identity is held?
No, I affirm that absolute identity can be implied in any case.
Yes, so can you give me a temporal case in which absolute identity is applied?
Okay, I'm identical to myself. That's absolute identity.
You are identical to yourself. Wait,
Yes,
who is
that's
the you?
absolute identity.
Wait, when you say you are identical to yourself, are you saying that you are identical to the human essence?
I'm identical to both my essential and accidental properties together. That is me. I am identical to that. My essential and my accidental properties.
So you're identical to your height?
No, I'm identical to all of my properties, whether they be essential or non-essential, altogether.
Yeah, so your height is an accidental property of yours, correct?
It's one of my accidental properties, yeah.
Yeah, so you're identical to your height?
No, I just answered that.
You just said that you're identical to your non-essential and essential properties.
I said I am identical to the whole of me, which is comprised of essential and non-essential properties.
All right, clock it.
Are you tracking?
Well, wait, I still got 9 minutes. Oh, shoot, I'm tweeting. I thought it was 27 minutes left. 27 seconds left. Okay, perfect. Oh, a lot of time. Whoa, okay. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Is Allah reality?
He's not identical to reality, no.
What is reality?
What do you think? That's a given. Why do I have to define reality?
What is reality? What is it?
Why do I need to define this term? Are you kidding?
No way, bro. This is bad. Bro, what do you mean?
Why are you nervous laughing? Are you okay? Why are you nervous laughing, bro? It's fine.
Wait, you're not allowed to ask questions.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, guys, keep it.
Well,
wait, I don't need to stop the time. Just keep it with asking questions, please. And Kōrra, don't ask some questions.
Wait, so Allah. Wait, so you just won't define what reality is?
I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what reality is. I would use it interchangeably with existence. So.
So does Allah exist?
Yes, Allah exists, but He's not identical to this existence.
Wait, so Allah is not. So Allah is not identical to His existence.
No, Allah is not identical to His existence. Existence is just a qualifier. No, sorry, a quantifier.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
Does Allah exist? Yeah, you can't ask questions. And by the way, yes, I do. And so does Allah exist in reality?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So existence as being a qualifier. Existence is not something that is fundamental. A quantifier. Existence is not something that is fundamental.
No, existence is fundamental.
Okay, but Allah. So is Allah fundamental?
What are you defining fundamental as?
You just
necessary, correct?
You can't ask me questions. It
was a clarifying question, dude. What? It was a clarifying. We can't ask clarifying questions.
Okay. So, I think it's instead of asking him what are you defining it as, maybe I don't understand the question, and then I'll pause it, and then you get to repeat it, Q-Top. But like you can't actually ask him any questions back because it's not your time to ask questions.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go again, and I'm just gonna leave it again. Okay, and starting now.
Okay. Is existence fundamental? You don't know what I mean when I say fundamental. When I say fundamental, I mean that it is necessary for any actualization.
If it's with regards to God, yeah, I believe existence is fundamental.
Okay, perfect. Does Allah exist?
Yes.
Is Allah identical to the fact that He exists?
No.
So if existence is fundamental and Allah is not identical to the fact that He exists, would it follow that Allah is not fundamental?
No, it wouldn't follow.
Why?
What's the inference rule on that?
Why?
You're incapable of providing an inference rule, that's why.
Why? Why would it not follow? This not answer my question. Why would it not follow?
You need to prove that it does follow. What?
Okay. Wow. Okay. So there are 99 distinct things from Allah, which are His attributes, correct?
Oh yeah, sure.
Do these things have an ontology?
Not by virtue of themselves, no.
So they get an ontology how?
They have a state of being by virtue of Allah's essence.
They have a state of being. So they get ontology by being dependent upon Allah.
Their ontology is dependent upon Allah's existence, yes.
Wait, but you just said they didn't have an ontology.
I said that they don't have ontology by virtue of themselves. Did you hear me?
So they have ontology by being dependent upon Allah, correct?
Insofar as, yeah, because the essence implies the attributes, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So so these things don't actually have a separate existence. So Allah is dependent upon something that he gives these things existence. But then he's not identical to existence. So then how is Allah giving these things existence if he's not identical to what existence is?
As I said, first off, existence is a quantifier. But the reason as to why it's going to be the case that the attributes have ontology, not by virtue of themselves, but by virtue of the fact that they are inseparable from the essence and they share God's essence. So God's essence is what's giving these attributes their ontology, their state of being.
Wait, so you say existence is a quantifier. You think that all things that exist must be put into some sort of numerical category?
What type of question is that? What? Well, what is a numerical category? What?
Can all things that exist be expressed in some sort of numerical sentence? I mean, it can be expressed. This is a bottle. This bottle exists. I have one bottle in my hand. There's one bottle. That's what a numerical category is. It's very simple. So are you saying that all things that exist must be put into a numerical category?
Maybe not by necessity insofar as like saying it and so on, no.
Wait, so something can exist and not be put into a numerical category?
But what are you defining numerical category as?
I just explained it. This water bottle exists.
That's not a definition. That's not what a definition. That's not a definition, dude.
You're not allowed to ask him a question. You're only allowed to say that I don't understand the question, so he repeats it again.
Repeating the question doesn't give me clarity.
Bro.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand the question. Then he can clarify. But every time you ask him a question back, you are asking him a question during his time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna clock it. Do you affirm that all knowledge necessitates a relational distinction between the knower, what is known, and the act of knowing?
No.
Okay, so what does it mean for Allah to know something?
To be aware. So like we affirm that Allah has propositional knowledge. We would just affirm Allah knowing something or having knowledge of something is acknowledging it.
Okay, so there's no relational distinction between what Allah knows and himself.
When you say relational distinction, does this need to be a real distinction or can it be conceptual?
It needs to be a real distinction.
Okay, I disagree with that.
Okay, so if it's conceptual, then that means there actually is no real distinction, which means what Allah knows is just identical to that He is.
No.
So are you saying that Allah, what Allah knows is identical to what He is, or what Allah knows is distinct from what He is?
No, I didn't say. I think what Allah knows is distinct from what He is.
Yeah, so what Allah knows is distinct from what He is. Perfect. So when Allah knows the creation would be distinct from Allah in the category that Allah's knowledge is not identical to His essence.
Wait. Okay, here's the issue though. With regards to that in particular,
I didn't even ask you a question.
This would only follow. Wait, no, but
this. I didn't even ask her a question.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what's going on. Like I didn't even ask you a question yet.
That wasn't a question. That was a claim. Like, okay.
I was leading on to a question, Kōrra. You know, stop the time. Like, bro, Kōrra, you can't ask me questions right now. Like, I don't think you know how cross-examination works.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it again. So if you feel like there's something that he hasn't said, the word would be clarify what you just said. If you feel like you need him to ask the question again, the word would be repeat your question. Okay. But every time you ask him a question when you're not supposed to, it's not your time to ask questions. When it's his time, I'm expecting him to do the exact same thing. If he doesn't get it, clarify the question. If he wants you to repeat it, repeat the question. But right, asking a question in the middle, you're switching who's supposed to be asking questions.
All right.
So I'm going to start continue the timer, and people in the comment section, since you guys don't listen, the comment section will remain paused like this until after. I don't know who removed it. Unless it's Doron, please don't remove the comments. You guys don't listen. So yeah. If it's Doron, then Doron can remove it. But if it's not Doron, the rest of you guys will remain like that. Anyways, so I'm gonna start again.
Yeah, we'll just clock it. Is Allah's knowledge necessary?
You could say some of it, yeah. Not all of it, in terms of the propositions.
Wait, so what knowledge does Allah have that is necessary?
We can say, for example, knowledge of himself and his attributes.
Wait, so how would Allah's knowledge of himself be necessary if his knowledge is not identical to his being?
It would be necessary by virtue of the fact that it's a reflection of his reality, the fact that he exists.
His reality? So Allah is reality, or is Allah in
his reality insofar as he exists? That knowledge would be necessary because he exists, and that knowledge is a reflection of his existence.
Is Allah identical to reality, or does Allah exist in his own reality?
That's a false dichotomy. Allah exists in reality, not in his own reality.
Allah exists in reality. So what is this reality in which Allah exists in?
What? I don't get the question.
Yeah, you're saying Allah exists in reality. This water bottle exists in reality. What is reality that Allah exists in? Because you didn't answer that before, and I think this is very crucial. You're saying Allah exists in reality. So what is this reality that Allah exists in?
I don't understand what type of question. Are there multiple realities? That literally makes no sense.
I'll try to answer the question again. She just won't answer. Clock it. Okay. Can I say that love being actualized to its fullest is someone loving something other than themselves?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
Okay. So what is Allah loving other than himself?
Creation.
Yeah, what was he loving before?
He didn't need to love anything else.
So he wasn't loving anything else?
He didn't need to, no.
Yeah, so you disagree that love being actualized to its fullest is you loving something other than yourself. So before the creation, was Allah actualizing love to its fullest?
Wait, you're presupposing that Allah needs to actualize love in the first place.
I'm going to go back through this line of thought. Do you affirm that love being actualized to its fullest is you loving something other than yourself?
Yes, you can say that, Q-Top.
Okay, yes. Okay. So before the creation, was Allah loving something other than himself?
No.
So from that line of reasoning, does it logically follow that Allah was not actualizing love to its fullest?
Allah doesn't need to actualize love to its fullest.
Does it logically follow there that Allah was not actualizing love to its fullest?
Yes, prior to creation, Allah was not actualizing love because he didn't need to, because love is Cambridge.
Okay, clock it. Let's talk about fairness. Can it be said that in order to actualize fairness to its fullest, you need to actualize it with something other than yourself?
Sure, you can say that, yeah.
Okay, so before the creation, was Allah actualizing fairness to its fullest?
No, not necessarily, because he doesn't need to, because it's a Cambridge property.
Clock it. Man, how much time do I have? Yeah.
You're done. Okay, thank you. Okay, so people in the comment section, I'm gonna open the comment section again. Please stop spamming the W's. We get it. If you believe that somebody's winning, you guys just stop spamming stuff. I don't get it. Stop spamming the Danny thing. Stop spamming W's. Stop spamming. You guys are stressing me out, and then the other mods are not muting people. So I'm out here having to control 30 seconds, having to look at the screen, and having to control the comment section as well. I'm only one person. I'm not three. Okay. So please, guys, please just stop spamming. I'm begging you guys. Stop spamming, because I don't want to have to turn off the chat.
Listen, they promise to stop spamming. Can we get the chat, please?
No, they don't listen.
They promise, please, bro.
Okay. So I'm gonna switch you with Q-Top. Let me start 15, and then I'm gonna turn the chats back on. Guys, please, we get it. If you believe somebody's winning, send them gifts. That's how we'll know. Send them gifts. Just don't spam, please. I'm begging you, please. Okay, all right. So, Kōrra, starting now.
Okay, Q-Top, are the persons of the Trinity intrinsic or extrinsic to God's essence?
Clarify what you mean by intrinsic.
Subsists within the essence?
Yes, there are three subsistences within one essence.
Okay, are the persons in the Trinity really distinct from one another, or are they conceptually distinct from one another?
Clarify what relation of conceptual distinction you're invoking.
When I say conceptual distinction, I'm defining it in the way Aquinas does, which is just a distinction within the mind and not within reality.
So if by conceptual distinction, you mean conceptually distinct in the mind of God, not in the mind of man, yes, the persons are conceptually distinct in the mind of God.
Are they conceptually distinct only within the mind of God?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Are the persons identical to the essence?
Yes.
Are they absolutely identical or relatively identical?
And purely relatively identical.
Can you define relative identity?
Yes. A can be the same X as B if and only if X is the sum of the intrinsic properties of A and B. So relative identity is just saying that something can be alike in one sense but different in a different sense.
Okay, beautiful. Why exactly does classical identity not apply to the Trinity again? Can you tell us?
Yeah, classical identity is conflating essence and personal relations. So when you conflate what something is with the way of subsistence, this is the problem.
Okay, are the persons numerically identical to the essence?
If numerical identity you're invoking in the absolute identity context, then no.
Okay, so just to follow back, you believe that classical identity does not apply to the creator because it applies to the creation and it's categorically dependent.
Correct.
Okay, do you know who coined the term relative identity?
I don't care, no.
Okay, I'll tell you then. Relative identity was coined by Peter Geach. All right, Peter Geach writes in his book, The Identity, that he wrote in 1967, that relative identity accounts for temporal things as well as atemporal things. So I'm going to ask you this. If your problem is that classical identity does not apply to the creator because it applies to the creation, and it is a category error because the categories are distinct, how come relative identity can now apply to that which is temporal and atemporal simultaneously?
Yeah, we don't see a problem with that. You can, like Aristotle's substance and form, things can be relatively identical in terms of like substance and form. What I'm saying is that absolute identity is categorically dependent, which is where we get relative identity from. So yeah, relative identity is the categorically dependent of absolute identity.
Okay, you didn't answer my question. Why exactly would relative identity apply to both the creation and the creator? Or in Peter Geach's example, when he talks about relative identity accounting for things such as a human being at one time and a human being at the other time, when they have the same sortal properties but distinct non-sortal properties. So I'm going to ask you again, why exactly can relative identity account for the creation and the creator simultaneously, but classical identity can?
Yeah, great question. Classical identity can't, because classical identity is just conflating essences and personal relations. So in the created order, particulars as being expressed as instantiations of universals, they are going to be expressed in the sense that these things are essentially distinct because they're participating in existence in a different way. Where because God's essence is identical to existence, we don't think existence is divisible. So you're conflating essential distinctions with universals and particulars with God as being the creator.
Okay. Again, that wasn't really an answer to the question, but that's perfectly fine. Now, Thomas Aquinas says in his Summa Theologica that it's going to be the case that if something participates in existence and it's not identical to existence, then it's going to be caused. So I'm going to ask you this. Are each of the persons of the Trinity identical to existence?
Yes.
Okay. What does it mean to be identical to existence?
Yeah, it means that what you are is identical to that you are.
Okay. Are they relatively identical or are they absolutely identical?
The persons will be impurely relatively identical.
Ooh. Again, I just want you to give your justification as to why relative identity applies here.
Because you're conflating essences with personal relations. So relative identity deals with the fact that the persons are alike, or the persons are identical in their disposition in relation to the essence, but they're distinct in their disposition in relation to each other. So the persons in the mind of God are conceptually distinct. But we can refer to the persons as being distinct because the fact that God is reality, that trickles down to us.
Okay, I have a question. Are the persons of the Trinity all ontologically reduced to the same nature, which is the essence?
They are identical to the essence, yes.
Are they ontologically reduced to the essence?
You have to clarify what that means.
Okay, if something is ontologically reduced to something, it will essentially have the same properties and whatnot. Their states of beings will be the same.
They have the same essential properties, yes.
Okay. Now, we're going to go back to the relative identity issue. Actually, no, let's do this instead. You believe that each of the persons of the Trinity are identical to pure ase, correct?
You talking about just existence?
Yeah, pure ase is pure existence.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's going to be the case that they're all identical to pure existence, why exactly does this identity account, like in terms of relative identity specifically and not classical, without you, again, appealing to the creation-creator distinction?
Yeah, so when you say without me appealing to the creature creator distinction, there is a creature creator distinction. So that's literally that's what's fundamental. So in the created order, when we're dealing with universals and particulars, right, we're dealing with a particular which is an instantiation of a universal. So me and you are both humans, but we're essentially distinct because we're participating in existence in a distinct manner. Where the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are not essentially distinct because they are identical to existence. So there is a creator creature distinction, and that is applicable.
I agree. I do agree that there is a creator-creation distinction. Then I'll ask you this. What does it mean to participate in existence differently?
Yes, what that means is that because our essence is not identical to our existence, our perception of reality is distinct. So when you talk about what existence is, as a Christian idealist, we can parse through that. But to give you a basic understanding, because we are both participating in existence differently, all that is just meaning is that we have different perceptions of existence.
We have different perceptions of existence.
Correct.
So it's going to be the case that in reality, we can still be ontologically reduced to the same essence. If it's merely conceptual, if the distinction is solely within the mind, it's merely conceptual, then we are still ontologically reduced to the same essence. So my argument still follows.
Can you clarify any of that?
Yes, when I said ontologically reduced to the same essence, this again, when we say essence, we're referring to a set of essential properties. Now, if your justification for us participating in existence differently is going to be the fact that we think that we exist differently and so on and so forth, essentially affirming that conceptual distinction, then yeah, we are going to be reduced to the same exact thing within reality. We're just going to be distinct in terms of what's going on in the mind.
So you're not asking a question, so I'll just respond to that as if it was a question. When I say perception, right, this is not some sort of conceptual distinction. I'm saying because we perceive reality differently, this shows that our essence is not identical to our existence. The three persons, they are perceiving reality the exact same way. They're literally just different subsistences, right? So that we have essential distinctions because we're participating in existence. You asked me to clarify that, and so I started talking about perception, which is different in both of us.
Okay, so you do agree that it's going to be the case that the only real distinction between me and you is going to be that which we can identify within the mind?
No, it's not just conceptually distinct. It's the way that we are perceiving.
Perceiving reality. That plays to the rationale.
Can you clarify what conceptual distinction is?
A distinction that solely is grounded within the mind and is not grounded within reality.
Yes. Do you think that reality has...
You can't answer questions.
Oh, yeah, my bad, y'all. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, let me ask the next... You get to ask the next question without the timer going because he asked a question.
Yeah.
Let me let this. Okay, hold on. Bear with me, please. Let me do this. Blocked. Okay, thank you. Kōrra, ask the next question and then I'll start the timer once you...
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll just ask a different question. Do you believe that the laws of logic are grounded within God's mind?
The laws of logic are reflections of God's mind, yes.
Are they grounded within God's mind?
By grounded, if you mean that they are justified by his mind or that they have their ultimate explanation in his mind, yes.
Okay, so when I say grounded, I'm referring to tag. I'm sure you're familiar with it. But regardless of that, do you believe that in order for the... Wait, actually first, do you believe that the laws of logic are logically necessary?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that since the laws of logic are logically necessary, it needs to be grounded within that which is logically necessary as well?
God is transcendentally necessary. So you're conflating logical necessity with transcendental. Logical necessity deals with possible worlds. Transcendental necessity deals with the actualization of any world. So God would be transcendentally necessary. The laws of logic are logically necessary.
You didn't answer my question. What I'm asking you is God logically necessary?
God is transcendentally necessary. So
it's a yes or no. Q-Top, it's a yes or no.
Categories.
It's yes or no. Is God logically necessary?
Can you clarify what logical necessity is?
There's going to be a contradiction in its negation. So there is going to be a logical contradiction in negating God's existence. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Sure.
Okay, beautiful. Do you believe that your conception of God is logically necessary?
My conception. Wait, clarify what you mean by my conception.
The Trinity. Is the triune God logically necessary?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay. Is there a logical negation in terms of negating the Trinity?
Yes.
Okay, what's the logical contradiction in saying that the Trinity is not true?
Yeah, the P is knowledge is necessary. The not P is that if knowledge wasn't necessary, then the Trinity would be false. So the P is knowledge is necessary, not P is knowledge is not necessary.
That doesn't, how does that account for the Trinity? How does that account for three persons?
Yes, because all knowledge necessitates a relational distinction between the knower, what is known, and the act of knowing.
Okay, let me ask you this. First off, this doesn't prove the Trinity, because why can't I just say now this can be grounded in 4 persons, or 2 persons, or 5 persons? How exactly do you logically come to the conclusion that God is triune and not 2 persons or 7 persons? Why can't I now just come to the conclusion that Hindus are not monotheists? Why is it specifically 3 persons, logically, Q-Top?
Yeah, I'll say it again, because all knowledge necessitates 3 relational distinctions, which is the knower, what is known, and the actual act of knowing. This is why we are spirit, mind, and body. Because it necessitates 3. So you're asking, we have the Father, who is the eternal knower, the Son, who is what is eternally known, and the Holy Spirit, which is the act of knowing. So it necessitates 3.
Can you give me a formal argument as to why it'd be the case that it necessitates 3? Stylogized, if you can.
Yeah, so asking me for a formal argument just means you don't understand the type of question you're asking. You're asking me for a transcendental argument for the transcendental.
I'm not.
So when when you ask this type of question and you ask me to give a logical syllogism, it would just be the case that you don't understand the type of question you're even asking me.
That's completely and utterly incorrect, dude. All I'm saying is that you need to prove logically that it's necessarily 3 persons. That's all I'm saying. And you are just saying, oh yeah, well, the reason why logically 3 persons are going to be the case is because there needs to be 3 relational distinctions within God. That's just begging the question. So can you prove, again, is there a which law of logic am I violating by saying that God is 2 persons or 4 persons? Which one?
Yeah, so again, you're conflating categories here.
It's just answer a law of logic, dude. You're wasting my time. Yeah, there's 3 laws of logic. Just answer one of them.
Yeah, I can see you're getting flustered here. To answer your question for the second time, knowledge necessitates a relational distinction between the knower, what is known, and the act of knowing. Now, you asking me to present a syllogism would just presuppose that you actually have knowledge by which exists in your world to even ask me that particular inquiry. Now, if knowledge is necessary and knowledge necessitates relational things between the knower, what is the knower, what is known, the act of knowing, you even asking me to present a syllogism means you don't understand how transcendental arguments actually work.
That is not what I asked, and that is not an answer either. Sorry, what happened? Okay, let's go back to this again, because I don't think you're understanding. You need to answer which law of logic, and Tiger, please hold him to this because he's wasting my time. Which law of logic does God contradict by not being 3 persons? Just tell me what law. Okay, is it identity, is it non-contradiction, or is it exclude middle?
I just want to say this. Remember what I said at the start. If somebody's not answering the question, I can't actually hold them to answering the question. You get to ask the question 3 times. If they don't answer it, then move on to the next one. Everybody can see that they didn't answer.
Okay, this is going to be my 3rd time. Q-Top, which law does God somehow contradict by not being 3 persons? Is it identity, is it non-contradiction, or is it excluded middle?
Yeah, it'd be all 3. That's how laws of logic work.
Okay, wait, if something, whoa. If something violates one law of logic, it necessarily violates the next 2.
Necessarily, if it's logically necessary, yes. We're talking about logical necessity.
Oh, on God, that's gibberish. Okay, so can you display it contradicting the law of identity?
Yes, knowledge is necessary, so knowledge will have an identity state. And so when you talk about it contradicting the law of identity, what is ultimate and fundamental, which is God, necessitates relational distinction to actually ground his knowledge. Now, if you think that knowledge doesn't necessitate a relational distinction, then your whole worldview would just collapse. So I'll say it again. The Father is the eternal knower. The Son is what is eternally known. And the Holy Spirit is the act of knowing. That's metaphysical necessity, not logical necessity. You're just... You're not tracking, with all due respect. Okay, that's fine. We can move on to the next question. Would you say that the proposition, let's say, for example, Q-Top is alive right now, would be within God's knowledge? That is relationally dependent upon our perception of reality. God knows all things in actualization.
Okay, does God affirm all things?
By affirm, if you're talking about temporal states, no.
Okay, so is God right now affirming that it's going to be the case that you are alive?
God affirms all things at once. So by affirm, if you
It's
just
yes or no. It's yes or no, dude.
Your question is loaded. I can tell you the objectionable premise.
Time's up anyway.
Okay, whatever.
Do you want me to tell you the objectionable premise?
No, it's fine. Time's up.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Okay.
Yeah, that was bad.
All right. So thank you guys for that cross examination. So what we're gonna do is, shut up. Sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have what do you guys say? I wrote it down. 5-minute closing statements, and then we'll go to Q&A straight after. So who was stopping again? Q-Top, are you the one that's ending last, or
yeah, I'm gonna end. Yeah, Kōrra gonna go. Yeah.
Okay, so Kōrra, I'm gonna set the timer on the screen because I'm tired of this laptop. I don't know.
Alright, I got you.
I keep on forgetting my room is a mess, so I can't. Let me just turn off my camera before I embarrass myself on TikTok. I'm gonna set the 5-minute timer on you, and as soon as it goes, starting now.
Okay, unfortunately, Q-Top has been able to prove my exact point, that he is incapable of providing formal arguments or arguments that follow, and all he is capable of doing is making claims. He was not capable of accounting for my refutation of composition. He was not capable of accounting for my argument against him applying relative identity. He was not capable of addressing my argument for why he should hold to relative identity. He was incapable of addressing his blunder where he said that God is numerically identical to his essence, and so on and so forth. He was incapable of providing an argument for any of these things. Now, I was actually able to reconcile these things. All you did throughout this entire debate, again, I asked you for academics, I asked you for scholars, I asked you for church fathers, I quoted Thomas Aquinas to you multiple times, I quoted multiple Western and contemporary philosophers with regards to every single one of my definition, and you were incapable of doing a single one. You call me mentally deficient. But I think it's quite evident that I came into this debate with 1 Timothy 2:12 in my mind, and I had to show Paul exactly what's up. I had to show Paul that women can, in fact, disprove his religion that he created. Perfectly fine with regards to that as well. So again, obviously, none of my questions were answered. That's perfectly fine. I really did expect this from you, Q-Top. I've been pondering about this for the past 2 days. Everyone was telling me, he's a low tier, it's perfectly fine, he's not going to answer it, so on and so forth. I was like, no, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I made a mistake with regards to that. I really did. And it's perfectly fine. I understand that you're incapable of addressing God's propositional knowledge. I know that you're incapable of addressing your blunder and your special pleading for why classical identity does not apply. I know that you're incapable of responding to why relative identity would apply to both atemporal and temporal concepts simultaneously. But you call classical identity categorically dependent because it only applies in one category. But we can show other things, other theories of identity, which apply in both categories, whether it be the creation or the creator. And you were incapable of justifying why your special pleading was perfectly fine. And again, it's perfectly fine. I know that when we had the pre-debate discussion, you made it quite evident that you've never picked up a book of logic in your life. I 100% understand that. That's perfectly fine. You were incapable of providing an inference rule for a single one of your arguments against Tawhid or a single one of your rebuttals against the Trinity. And again, it's okay. I'm not going to hold you accountable for this. Logic isn't for everybody. Philosophy isn't for everybody. Debating isn't for everybody. Religion isn't for everybody as well. And I think, Q-Top, you might be one of those people. I think that you should just retire. I don't even think you should debate Islamic Apex on Saturday, I'll be honest. I think that after him watching this debate, he's going to come to the conclusion that you're just a bit too much of a low tier. Just a bit too much. And it is what it is. If you want, after this debate, I can go ahead and give you some basic handbooks on logic. For example, there's a student edition Introduction to Propositional Logic that I can send you a PDF of, and then we can maybe run back this debate once you have like a general understanding of what makes an argument valid, what makes an argument sound. You can read up on scholastic metaphysics because I heard that you're a Thomist and so on and so forth. We can talk about scholastics maybe next time. But again, all that you proved, Q-Top, is that you are incapable of having an academic discussion, an intellectual discussion. You believe that appealing to church fathers and scholars and philosophers and so on and so forth is something called special pleading, quote unquote. Or, let's say it like this, an appeal to authority. All I asked you to do, Q-Top, is that you need to provide somebody of knowledge that precedes you, because all you did is prove that you define terms in an ad hoc way. You defend the Trinity in an ad hoc way. You have misused language. You have misused philosophy. You actually contradicted Thomas Aquinas directly, because Thomas Aquinas says verbatim that the Trinity cannot be proven via reason. You believe that the Trinity is logically necessary, therefore it can be proven by reason. So again, just... It's fine. Did you pause my time? It was loud as stuff. Actually, you know what? I think I'll just wrap it up there. I'll just concede my time.
Q-Top, you're gonna go next. You got 5 minutes. And yeah, that loudest gift came from your side. So guys, stop sending loud gifts in the middle of somebody speaking. Because I can't pause TikTok time. I can only pause the time on my screen. And I'm tired. Okay, so Q-Top, 5 minutes. You got it. Go on.
So I started off in my opening statement pulling up Sahih al-Bukhari. Sister, I do not think that you are, intellectually deficient, but the Prophet did narrate something in that hadith there that says that a woman actually has a deficiency in her mind. I don't think that that's just what Muhammad, peace and blessings be to the Prophet, said. Where do I start? Where do I start? Yeah, so this was about like 90% cope. I've never engaged in a debate full of such cope. I mean, cope. I mean, in the cross exam, I mean, she's not even answering questions. And if you guys know what she conceded to, oh my goodness gracious. Allah is not actualizing love to its fullest. Allah is not actualizing fairness to its fullest. Allah exists in reality, and she couldn't even define what reality is. Allah has 99 distinct attributes to his essence, which will make 99 different gods. Allah depends upon something to unify his parts. Allah is contingent, not necessary. Allah exists within time. I mean, are you serious? But then she says, I didn't give logical objections. Then she thinks words are objective. And I literally asked her that in an opening statement and she conceded. I mean, this cannot be for real. I mean, it's really hard for me to take stuff like this seriously. But what is most important is this. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this opportunity to preach the gospel. Lord, I pray that your spirit go forth and change a soul today. In Jesus' name, amen. The Trinity has been defended. The Christian worldview has been defended. Very simply, I'm not even sweating. Here's the gospel. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Let's break that down. For God so loved the world. Who is God? Well, God exists in three persons. In this context, it's saying for God so loved the world, talking about the Father. Okay, God so loved the world that he sent. Who did he send? He sent his only begotten son, God of very God, man of very man, dwelling among us, and died for our sins. That by simply believing upon Christ, by understanding that you in yourself cannot make it to heaven because you are a sinner, you are unrighteous, you are unjust, and the only thing left for you is to be discarded. But the Son said, I'll stand in your place. I'll stand in your place and I'll take the wrath of God on myself. This is the gospel. The Bible says in the book of Romans chapter 10 verse 9, for if we confess with our mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and we believe in our heart that God has raised him from the dead, we shall be saved. The Trinity is perfect. Logically perfect, metaphysically perfect. The Christian worldview is perfect. Believe upon Jesus Christ today. Let go of your false idols and believe. Believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. I can sit up here all day and defend the Trinity and destroy Tawhid. I can show why there's 99 gods. I can show why Allah needs a God. I can show why Allah is contingent. I can show why Allah can't ground any knowledge. But that's not the point. The point is for you to believe in Jesus. I yield my time.
So since Q-Top, you finished, I'm going to start off with Kōrra. I'll list out the people who are in the comment section that are Muslims, and you tell me who you want to bring up. So we have Central, we have Striving Muslim, we have Ahmed, we have Al-Athari, we have Itachi. Who else is here? We've got Sedio Islam. Yeah, which one?
Alright, is there somebody in there that has Arabic writing?
I mean, Al-Athari has Arabic writing.
Their name is just gonna be full Arabic writing.
No.
Ah, shit. Yo, Jad, comment real quick.
We've got Ibrahim, we've got SJ, we've got Umar Ibn, something. Oh wait, hold on. These requests are coming
There
fast.
we go. Okay, got it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Properties here. I mean, Kōrra appealed to love and all these attributes that you were saying were relational, or at least are definitionally relational. You appealed to them as being Cambridge properties, and it seems like you didn't like that. But are you aware that Thomas Aquinas actually spoke about Cambridge properties such as justice and being the creator? Those are Cambridge properties. So what's your contention with Cambridge properties if you don't take the Thomas view?
Okay, wait, hold on. Are you that's your question? And guys, stop playing around with the comment section.
Yeah, I'm curious for his contention. I mean, it seems like he was kind of confused on what that means, and I want him to define what a Cambridge property is.
Wait, so
yeah, he has to ask a question.
Yeah, that was my question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so when we talk about God being just and God being a creator as those being Cambridge properties, it just means that like those properties are going to be relational to the creation itself. Now, the problem is when we talk about God being love and God being fair, the reason why this can't be in disposition to the creation itself is because if it is the case that Allah is not love before the creation, right? And if it is the case that love is something that is fundamental to the world itself, meaning that we would all hold that love is the ultimate good, then it would just logically follow that Allah is not the ultimate good before the creation, and Allah would depend upon the creation to be good. That's the issue.
Okay, can I comment on that as well?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so when I was speaking with regards to attributes like love and justice and fairness and so on and so forth, I specifically said that it's going to be the case that God does not necessarily need to actualize any of these attributes to have them. God does not need to be acting upon his love in order to be loving. God does not need to be acting upon his justice in order to be just. God does not have to be acting upon his fairness in order to be fair, and so on and so forth. So when you decided to say this in this cross-exam, I was very disappointed because I'm pretty sure you don't believe that God necessarily, insofar as he is forced to actualize every single one of these attributes. That would just be completely and utterly stupid.
Tiger, can you rise Yakovos, my brother Yakovos, please rise, my brother. My brother Yakovos.
Hey guys, God bless. Really good debate from both of you, especially yourself, Kōrra. Well done. My question is, earlier in the debate, you mentioned that Allah's essence is defined by the set of essential properties, which would be the Sifat Dhatiyya. You also said that the Sifat Dhatiyya are not causally efficacious in and of themselves. Since one of the Dhati is the uncreated and eternal will, could you now say that Allah's will is not causally efficacious?
No, Allah's will is causally efficacious. It just wouldn't be by virtue of itself. It'd be virtue by the essence. It would be virtue of the essence, sorry.
Okay, Q-Top, did you want to answer that? And sorry for the drop. I just drop people automatically once the question is done. And guys, stop spamming. You know what? The person who keeps on turning the comment section off. Stop turning it on. I've literally turned it off. Stop turning it back on.
Yeah. So in my eyes, it doesn't seem like that's an answer to the question that Yakovos just asked. He asked if Allah's will is causally efficacious. So it's the case that, like, look, if you don't affirm like absolute divine simplicity, you're going to have a problem because you already affirmed that Allah's act is distinct from Allah, right? And so if Allah's act is distinct from Allah, that means Allah's will is distinct from Allah. And if Allah's will is distinct from Allah, then Allah is dependent upon something that's distinct from him to actualize anything. So your response just wouldn't actually follow from you not affirming absolute divine simplicity.
Okay, bro. All right. Send that back to the... Yes, okay. So
let me get Itachi next.
Itachi, okay. Let's see if she's still working. Okay, got it.
Good job, bro. Okay, so Q-Top, in light of the way which Kōrra defined the conceptual distinction as two things being distinct only in the mind, and your agreement to this definition and its application to the persons of the Trinity, I just want to know how you're not now a modalist and a heretic by rejecting what all of the church says, that the persons of the Trinity are really distinct and not conceptually distinct. Thanks.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, so in the debate, you can actually rewind it. I made a fundamental distinction between something being conceptually distinct as purely being in the mind of man and something being conceptually distinct as purely being in the mind of God. Now, these persons would be just like formally distinct, and when we invoke formal distinction, it would just be like in the category of God's mind, not in the category of our mind. And so these words are categorically dependent in disposition if you're referring to them in terms of creaturely categories or the creator.
Okay, go on, Kōrra.
Oh yeah, like I don't need to comment on that, to be honest with you. I do think that it's quite obvious that he did concede to conceptual distinctions within the persons of the Trinity at the beginning of the debate, and then he retracted it later. So I mean, there's not much that I need to say. We can watch the debate back and see whether or not he said that, but it seems like the 600 people that were watching at that time did actually catch it, and it wasn't just Itachi or me.
Okay, hold on a second. Because I've seen some of you guys.
Wait, hold up. I want to bring up somebody.
Some of you guys.
Constantine Chronicles.
Yeah, now we're right.
I want to bring up Constantine Chronicles.
You have, let's see, where's Constantine Chronicles? Okay, got him.
Constantine Chronicles.
Hold on, bear with me. Let me find him.
Our boy Chronicles.
Good evening, Kōrra. Assalamu alaikum.
Yo, what's up? How are you?
If Allah's essence is identical with his will, which is what you claimed, and his will is identical with his essence, per Tawhid, how can Allah freely will one thing rather than another without implying modal distinction within the essence?
That's a question?
That is the question.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Constantine. God bless.
The answer to that question is that I did not say that Allah's will is identical to his essence. That's the answer. I never said that. I said that they're distinct. So the question in and of itself has nothing to do with me. I believe that they're distinct, and I never said that they were identical.
I love my brother Constantine Chronicles. If you guys don't know who that is, drop that brother a follow. But to the sister's point, and her name is Kōrra. Kōrra's point Yeah, she did affirm a distinction between those things, but that leads into an even bigger problem, which is what I was presenting. Because if there's a distinction in Allah's actual will, that means you have contingency. You don't have necessity. If you have contingency, then actually what happens is then contingency becomes some sort of like ontological operator in reality. So now then everything is contingent, including Allah. And then now Allah is not necessary. And then Allah depends upon something outside of Allah. And now your God is temporal and your God needs a God.
For my last Muslim, can I get Libiana?
Okay. Where he at? I don't. Oh, is it? Where's Libiano? I see Rabbi Libiano. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him. Rise Rabbi Libiano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Assalamualaikum, Kōrra. Good stuff. Good cooking, man. Happy cooking. Alright. So, am I allowed to ask a clarifier or no?
Q-Top, you okay with clarifier?
Yeah, he got whatever. He got whatever.
Am I allowed to ask a clarifier?
Yeah,
yes, sir. You can ask whatever you want to ask, brother.
Q-Top, just a clarifier. Would you say that the absolute divine simplicity entails absolutely no distinction in God's essence?
I would have to ask you a clarifier. By absolutely no distinction, are you negating real distinction in virtue of relation?
Yeah, absolutely no real distinction in God's essence.
Well, if you define real distinction as not even including relational distinction, then I would object to that. We don't think that relational distinctions affect absolute divine simplicity.
Yeah, so by distinction, I'm just saying that there's an asymmetry of properties.
I don't know what any of that means, but just get to your question.
All right, the question is, I'll answer for you. Yes, divine simplicity necessitates that the proponent affirms there's no real distinction in God. The question is, do you think that the persons are really distinct from one another, not just in mind?
Okay, so you just begged. Like,
that's the question.
Okay, yeah, that's the okay. Yes, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so he just like answered the question for me. I said that we don't think in like Thomism that relational distinctions affect absolute divine simplicity, if and only if those relational distinctions are conceptual in virtue or dependent of God's mind, not in virtue or dependent upon our mind. And so we hold some sort of formal or virtual distinction. And then again, those things are like categorically dependent. But when we talk about God and we talk about what those relational distinctions actually are, these relational distinctions are just going to be conceptual in God's mind, not conceptual in our mind. And so we can still affirm ADS with holding to relational distinction.
Okay, Kōrra, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I would just say with regards to him saying that the relation is going to be conceptual solely in God's mind, but not our mind. Would he not just say that it's going to be the case that anything which is within God's mind is going to be the truth? God cannot know or affirm anything which is false. Therefore, if God is affirming that there's some sort of a conceptual distinction in his mind, then there's also going to be a conceptual distinction within reality. Therefore, independent of whether or not our rationale says that there's a real distinction, it would be conceptual by virtue of the fact that God cannot affirm false propositions, and God affirms the proposition that there is a conceptual distinction and not a real one.
Okay, so Q-Top, who do you want for your last Christian? You've got
let's see.
You got himself.
Oh yeah, let me get my boy Sil. Let me get my. I clicked the wrong person. Diawon, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you. Diawon, I love you, bro. Diawon, you
already. 301. The debate is finished. So once King Silver,
then
you guys can come up.
Damn, I didn't know that you were debating, bro. Damn, but all right, cool, man. That's good, bro. But yeah, I do have a clarifying question for her. Then I'll go ahead and ask my question. Yeah. Do you believe that the Quran is an attribute of Allah? I mean, the words, I will say the Quran is considered to be the words of Allah. Do you consider it to be the attribute of Allah?
Yeah, you could say the Quran is an attribute, but I believe better terminology would be like the instantiation of an attribute.
Okay, so which would still be the words of Allah, right?
Yeah, it would be the words of Allah, yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so my question to you is, since the Quran, which would be the words of Allah, is an attribute of Allah, and that attribute obviously is considered to be uncreated and eternal, my question to you is from an authentic hadith from Sunan ibn Majah, 3781. right? Where it says that the Quran will come on the day of resurrection like a pillman, which it means that it will take the form of a pillman, and it will say, I am the one that kept you awake at night and made you thirsty during the day. My question to you is, if the Quran is going to take the form of a pillman, right, and it's going to do the act of speaking, my question to you is, are you saying that this is a different entity besides Allah that is speaking, or are you saying that Allah is speaking in a different mode where he's speaking through the Quran? That's my question.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, God bless
So,
you.
3 things to address. First thing, I do affirm that the Quran is uncreated. However, I do not affirm that the Quran is eternal. Second off, what I will say is I will just take the position of Ahmed ibn Hanbal and in Ibn Hanbal and in that which is in existence, like let's say that which can walk and testify for us on the day of judgment. It's just going to be the case that, as Ahmed ibn Hanbal says in this book, this is going to be the rewards of our fasts and our reading of the Quran and so on and so forth, coming and testifying on our behalf, not the Quran in and of itself. It's going to be the rewards of our actions. And if you'd like, I can bring a reference on that.
Okay, Q-Top, you got an answer for it?
Yes, I think what she just said is literally like logically incoherent. I mean, to say that something is uncreated, but it's also eternal. Christians, let's just think about this. She's saying something is uncreated, but it's also eternal.
No, I'm sorry. I have to cut him off. I never said it's eternal. That's a lie. I said it's not eternal.
Not eternal. My bad. It's not eternal, which is the problem. Actually, that actually would have helped you. You're saying it's uncreated, but it's not eternal. So this creation is created. This creation is not eternal. But you're saying it's uncreated and not eternal. So I see the reason why I said it wrong is because like it's just logically incoherent and my brain thinks logically. She's saying, listen, God, she said something is uncreated, but it's not eternal. God is uncreated. So God would be eternal. She's saying that something is literally uncreated, but it's also not eternal, bro. This is Islam, y'all. I yield my time. This is Islam.
All right. So that is the end of the debate. You guys can spam the comment section as long as you want. I'm no longer moderating. I can care less. You do whatever the heck you want to do inside of that comment section. I allowed the comment, but it's not allowing. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, my bad. Let me just do this real quick.
Hey, Q-Top, can I ask you a question?
Sit your down, bro. You can ask me whatever you want to ask, bro.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. So in your live, after you debated Ennis, yeah, I'm going to quote you verbatim. You said, I want to thank Romello for coming through with the gifts because that is a debate in and of itself. If you lose the coin battle, essentially you lost the debate. In this debate, you called Kōrra a half-brain, and you lost the coin battle. So can you, by your own admission, admit you lost to a woman who you believe is a half-brain? Yalla, go ahead.
Hey, so Central, bro, I will answer this question, bro. Hey, listen, it's relationally dependent. I'm invoking relative identity. So it is the case.
You got baked!
It is.
Yo, after party on my live, bro. After party on my.
Bro, this is bad. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, I'm not even like this.
Tell me the difference between uncreated and eternal. Thanks.
This is just bad, bro. Yeah, eternal means that something has always existed. Creation is a temporal notion.
No, I said what is uncreated and eternal?
Something cannot be created atemporal or not. Yeah, so everything that's created is temporal.
I agree, but can something be uncreated and not eternal?
No.
What's the contradiction?
Yeah, if something is uncreated, that means it came into existence. If something is eternal, it means it did not come into existence. So something cannot come into existence and not come into existence at the same time.
Can something uncreated be generated temporally?
Can something uncreated be no, not at all.
Why?
Yeah, because everything that's temporal is changing. If something is uncreated, in order for something to be created, that implies some sort of change.
Dude, you're not answering my question.
Kōrra got
Q-Tip got
baked. God bless you guys.
How?
Josh from the 6 got baked.
Yeah,
Sister Tiger, may I have 1 point?
Yo, what are you doing?
Bless you.
Away. That's Ahmed.
What are you doing here?
God bless you, brothers and sisters.
What is this guy doing here?
Chill out. Chill out.
Hold up, y'all.
So now the question for the three of them, one simple, easy question. You guys.
Wait, you guys, be calming down,
Come on,
please.
chill out, bro.
Talk.
Come on.
And by the way,
We're
I
not
want to answer
acting with
Islamic
kids.
question.
Calm down. So now I heard, I came late. I heard the young sister here. She believes Allah has an essence. My question is to Anas and Central. Does Allah has an essence?
Yes.
Congratulations. Go to the Dar al-Ta'arud al-Aql wal-Naql for Ibn Taymiyyah. You are not Salafi at all. Congratulations. Because your Allah, according...
They're not Salafi?
Calm down.
Bro, they're not
Calm
Salafi?
down, kids.
Whoa.
Calm down, kids.
I thought he... Wait. Perfect.
Calm down, kids. Kids, calm down. So now, according Ibn Taymiyyah, in the book of Ta'arud al-Aql wal-Naql, and the book of Shaykh al-Islam, Ibn al-Uthaymin, in his book, Al-Aqidah Safariniyah, he said literally answering those three heresy because they believing Allah has essence, which means
stop laughing.
Allah, according to them. No, just calm down. Let me finish.
Let him finish.
Just calm.
Let him finish.
Let me finish, please.
Let him finish.
Calm down.
Let him finish.
Let me finish. When you believe, according your madhab, when you believe Allah has an essence, which means your Allah has a physical existence, according your scholars.
What? Wait, hold on.
Like
okay, I have a question.
Arabic,
Wait, can I ask a clarifying question?
Show me.
Just a second.
Wait, he just made his claim. I need a clarifying question.
In Arabic, just chill out. In
guys,
Arabic, we said
Wait,
mujassima,
Prophet,
which
round
means
up your question, please. Round up what you're saying so that they can answer.
I just ask
Central,
it.
go to the gym and build your
because I
muscles.
heard the young lady here. I heard later when I came on. I heard her. She believes Allah has essence. My question was to the Anas and Central. Does those both of them believe what the lady believed too? And they're saying yes. And I said, congratulations. You are not Salafi, which means you are out of Ahl Sunnah wa Jama'ah, according to books, their own high master scholars.
Wait, hold on, I have a question. I have a clarifying question.
I didn't, because the sister asked
you're
me.
monologuing, my G.
Wait,
so
we already asked
the question
right there.
Ex-Muslim,
to you, Kōrra.
Like,
Kōrra, the question to you, because Anas, he said yes, and Central, he said yes.
Wait, Prophet ex-Muslim, please. Daron, can you stop? Daron, you need to like go through all the mods that you're making and you need to start removing some people because I don't understand. Some of you
This
guys
is the calmest I've seen Prophet ex-Muslim though.
Like what the heck?
Islamic Apex, do you think
someone's turning the comment off?
Wait, we just wanted to have a conversation.
Hey, we gotta let the uncle finish, bro.
Wait, let Uncle finish, bro. We gotta respect our elders, bro.
I'll let him finish.
Hey, Anas, one more comment from you and you're gone, yeah?
Hey, not too much on him, bro, though.
Let him finish. Everybody else on the Christian side is quiet.
And
you guys still not gotta learn how to be on our panels. Behave yourself. Anas, kick your bloody ass out of here.
You're gonna my bloody ass?
Okay,
did you redeem it?
Those kids, bro. Those kids.
Wait, Ahmed, I have a question.
These kids, little kids.
Wait, I
so,
have a sincere
Kōrra,
question.
do you believe Allah has an essence or
yes,
Allah
of course. Wait, can I ask a question?
Essence?
I believe Allah has an essence. Can I ask you a question?
So you believe Allah has an essence?
I have a question though. It's with regards to this.
Which means the essence.
Wait, can I speak? Can I speak?
Yeah, you will speak, but a clarification.
No, I'm gonna speak now.
I just need to clarify.
Now. That's what I'm
Yeah, I just need you to clarify for me.
Wait, ex-Muslim.
So do you believe the essence is Allah attribute?
Allah. No, an essence is not an attribute. What?
Bravo, which means you have.
Wait, let me ask something.
Allah has an actual
wait.
Dude, you're monologuing.
Hey, stop dropping me, man.
No, you're doing nonsense. Ex-Muslim. You've already asked the question. She's answering. We gave you time to speak. Let her respond, please.
Yeah, I believe Allah has an essence. Wait, can you bring him back up, please?
No. Oh, who? I think
Ahmed X.
I think he dropped himself, or somebody dropped him. See, this is what we mean. There's too many
I
moderators.
want
I
to
can't
ask
control.
Nas,
I can't control the lies.
Wait, can you bring him back? Because I do have a really important question for him.
Right.
I don't know. Jay, you bring.
Guys, seriously. Okay?
I got a question for Q-Top.
Everybody's going to get an opportunity to speak.
I wanted to ask Anas and I were having a dialogue because Anas thinks that something can be eternal and also be changing at the same time.
I kicked him out because Anas, for some reason, thinks, Anas thinks that he owns the little Iraqi boy. Okay, thinks that he will own this panel and be rude to everybody. He was the other night to Tiger. Again, he started acting up that way.
Yeah.
So Anas is gone.
Wait, Ahmed, yo, Prophet X, come back.
Just ask him the question.
Yo, X, come back.
We just have to be chill, guys. Seriously.
Baked.
The misbehavior.
I'm not gonna lie though, but like I'm not gonna really take this as because like at the end of the day, Kōrra wasn't really comp. So like when I debate Islamic Apex, I'll take the dub. But like this was bad. What's up, Dow?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yes, of course.
Q-Top, I was just wondering.
Not for me though.
One second. Let Dawa speak, bro. Everybody, let Dawa speak. What's up, Dawa?
Appreciate you, man. I was just wondering if you could please tell us what the act of knowing is.
Wait, 1 second.